Om Tat Sat. My humble prostrations to the all-pervading Brahman, to my worshipful Guruji, Swami Jyotirmayanandaji Maharaj, to sage Narada and all other sages and saints, and to each of you divine soul watching today's satsang. So today we are on the final chapter of Narada Bhakti Sutras. We are starting chapter number 4 and we will be studying sutra number 67 today. This chapter is called The Glory of One-Pointed Devotion. Commentary is by my Guruji, Swami Jyotirmayanandaji Maharaj, and narrated by myself, Swami Nikhilananda. So let's get started. Sutra 67, Narada Bhakti Sutras, Chapter 4. Bhakta ekantino mukhyaha. Again, Bhakta ekantino mukhyaha. So this sutra we will be covering in two parts. Today we will cover part number 1. Meaning, those who have one-pointed devotion are the best of devotees. So this whole chapter is about focus, one-pointed devotion. A devotee in whom the sthai bhava, sthai means stable, permanent. So the basic sentiment of devotion, if it has been brought to its full unfoldment, and who is able to enjoy the bhakti rasa, rasa means nectar, taste, sentiment of devotion, he becomes fully immersed in divine love. So that is the trait of a bhakta who is following this faithfully with one-pointed devotion. He does not live for anything other than the increasing love of taste of love's sweetness. So he is in a state that he keeps on enjoying the bhakti rasa, just like a bee enjoys the nectar, the honey. Such a devotee has developed one-pointed devotion and is indeed supremely blessed. So mind you, most people are not in that state. Most people look at it as a ritual. They do their prayers for a little while and then they get on with their lives. But in this case, this devotee is eating, living, walking, talking in God. He is focus, his total focus is one-pointed. The sattvic bhava, sattvic means divine, pure. The attitude adopted by a devotee matures into mahabhava. So as the devotee goes deeper and deeper into his sadhana, his sattvic bhava, which is a pure bhava, now becomes divine ecstasy, rasa, mahabhava, with the help of vibhavas, which are called causes, anubhavas are the effects, and sanchari or vyabhichari bhavas, changing or shifting emotions. So a bhakta tries different things to get his sattvic bhava into the mahabhava state. The vibhavas or causes that lead to such an unfoldment are of two types. The first one is called alambana vibhava. Alambana means support, and the second one is uddipana vibhava, which means awakening. So when a devotee holds the form of Lord Krishna, Lord Rama, Lord Hanuman, or any deity in his mind, he is adopting a supportive cause. He needs that support for him to develop those feelings. And when he allows his devotional sentiment to be awakened by good association, satsanga, study of scriptures, or taking recourse to a holy place, he is adopting the awakening cause of divine unfoldment or uddipana vibhava. So both are needed. First is the alambana, the support, and the second is the uddipana or the lighting. So for example, you light a lamp. So you first put the wick, the oil, and everything, that is the supporting function, and then you actually light it where there will be vision and better light. Same thing here. You first have Lord Krishna, your deity, in your mind, and then you supplemented with feelings of devotion, satsanga, talking, thinking, and making it more stable. So, as Sthai Bhava unfolds in a devotee, he experiences various effects in his body. Sthai means that now it's becoming more permanent. He's no longer having to do it, he enjoys it, and that becomes part of his personality. So when he does that, the experiences are faltering speech, which means that you choke up. You know how we get choked up with emotion? The same thing starts happening to the devotee, except for love of God. Then he has a trembling body, trembling body, horripilation, which means he can feel his hair stand on its ends, tears of joy come, etc. And then there are these 8 effects which we will be covering in Sutra number 68. 8 different effects to know. These are all signs that you are growing in your bhakti and it is becoming more sthai. Remember, the practice has to be constant for that to for us to experience that. So then dhriti means firmness, determination with which we do our sadhana. Mati is good and understanding what's good versus bad. Harsha is elation, and vitarka is doubt, and many other positive and negative sentiments come and go. So while the devotee experiences the growth of bhava within himself, so he is in the process of being firmed up, being a sincere devotee. So he will go through these natural tendencies of ups and downs, confusion sometimes, but although in the end he's always coming back to the same feeling, emotion of love, joy, and bhakti. So these Vyabhichari bhavas, or changing or shifting emotions, serve to enrich the basic process of devotion. So these initial steps are necessary for him to firm up the sthai bhava. And as devotion unfolds in the aspirant, sthai bhava, or the mature bhava, goes through 6 different stages. 6 different stages. So we know when we start experiencing them that this is where the journey is leading us to. The first one is called rati. Rati means delight of sattvic sentiment. You enjoy the vision of your deity, your guru, your pure thoughts that you have. You treasure those. The second one is prem. Prem is awakening of divine love, not just the prem of the world, just casual love. No, this is divine love, prem. And pranaya means increasing tenderness in love. Our love becomes more and more giving, more and more sensitive. Sneha is called melting love. Our love, so different categories of love. Raga is divine attachment. Here the connotation is more on the spiritual side. Normally raga is considered attachments to the world, but in this context, bhakti context, it's raga to divine, to God, to the super energy. And anuraga, 6th one is anuraga, that means ever growing divine love. So this unfoldment continues until it reaches the mahabhava state, where we experience divine ecstasy. So that is the sutra, such a short sutra, Bhakta Ekantino Mukhyaha, but so deep in its implications and its application. So we will cover part 2 of this sutra tomorrow. Om Tat Sat.